how would you characterize where we are right now?
We're still incredibly early. I wouldn't say to you use the baseball analogy. I wouldn't say we're at batting practice, but I would say we're somewhere in the first or second inning, which surprises a lot of people. But the
Oh,
reality
yeah.
is that majority of the adopters of spot Bitcoin ETFs to date, as well as spot Ethereum ETFs to date, have really been retail investors, hedge funds who are using those as part of a two-sided basis trade, or early adopter financial advisors. But the majority of professional wealth managers in America still don't even have access to these ETFs, which is kind of mind blowing
Mm,
because Bitcoin
yeah.
ETFs launched back in January 2024. Ethereum ETFs launched in July 2024. But the reality is these large wealth management platforms do just move extremely slow, in part because the regulatory pivot didn't really start until the end of last year, beginning of this year, but also because crypto is a really small part of their overall business. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of crypto enthusiasts don't understand that these wealth managers are focused on tariffs and interest rates and
Yeah.
equities and bonds and geopolitical tensions. And so they don't spend that much time thinking about crypto. And if you kind of follow that thought process onto the investment committees and the due diligence and risk departments in these large firms, they're just not going to move as fast in these things as people would like. So what that means is that we're still very early in adoption, and even those that are adopting, the early adopters, the RAs, they start with a small percentage. They start with like 1% allocation to Bitcoin. Then maybe they'll grow it to 2 or 3%, and we typically see it cap out around 5%. But it's still mostly in that 2 to 3% range. And then of course there are some who have a higher allocation to crypto in the broader portfolio, like 10%, 15. Some we even see 20%, but their clients are typically younger, maybe made their money in tech, and so they're a little bit more tech savvy, or they have a little bit more appetite for risk. But we're still very, very early.